If you're going to be interviewed for a teaching position, then this video is for you. If you're joining this platform for the first time, definitely browse around to learn more about how to get a teaching job in the United States. Without any further ado, we're going to get straight into our 10 questions. So it is an exciting time for you, and you are kind of nervous because you're not sure what you'll be asked in your interview. But these questions are just some starters that you can use and learn from, as well as do some more research. I will leave a link below with another video with other questions that you can get more information from. Let's get straight into it. Now, I'm not sure what type of interview you're going to be doing, whether it's for J1 or H1B visa, but in most cases, the questions are going to be similar. What you should know is that principals want to make sure that you are ready for the position. And so they're going to ask questions to get your feel on things and how you basically run your show in your classroom. As we already know, teachers, we are the boss because when we close our doors, we are the ones who are responsible for the children in our classroom. So principals want to know that we can manage our students, we can impart knowledge, and we will allow our children to grow in the several months we have them. So let's get to the first question. So please take note that these questions I'm going to share today, I did not say these questions will be asked. They may be asked that you can use to help you to prepare. And I want to wish you all the best in your interview. Now, some admin may ask you this question. This seems very simple, but they may ask you, why did you choose to become a teacher? And this can be a time when you reflect on your why. Why did you become a teacher? You can use examples. If you were, inspired by a previous teacher, or you were inspired by your parents, or you were inspired by something that happened to you personally, and you decided to make a change and you want to make that change in the education system, this is your time to shine. Explain to them what is your reason for becoming a teacher. And we have a sample answer here. You can talk about how passionate you are about teaching, helping others to grow, what your beliefs are, how you want to impact lives, and things like that. Okay, so that's number one. That's something you can do your research on. Very important to note, whatever questions you are preparing for, prepare your answers as well. Question number two. How do you create a positive and inclusive classroom environment? It's very important to note that in the United States, we have children from diverse background. You are going to have classroom with children from different cultures, different countries, children with different background, and it is an expectation that you're going to create an inclusive environment for all the children that is in your care. So how do you create a positive and an inclusive classroom environment? Okay, so my sample answer says that you can strive to create a welcoming an inclusive atmosphere by getting to know each student individually, because all of them, they're unique with different backgrounds. One way to do that also is to get to know the parents, learn about their culture, learn about how they celebrate different things in their life, whether it's their birthday party, stuff like that. You will have to do some research and see how best you can learn your students to create that inclusive environment so that nobody's left out. And you want to make sure your classroom is positive, one that the children want to come to every day and be happy. The next question says, describe your approach to classroom management. This is very important. Administrators want to know that you can manage a classroom without calling them every minute of the day or every day of the week, because calling admin every day to complain about classroom behaviors definitely going to show that you do not know how to manage your classroom. So think about strategies you've been using so far to manage your classroom. And I must say, how you manage your classroom in your home country may not be the same way you're going to manage your classroom in the United States or should I say, if you try to do it the same way, it may not work, because the children are different in their culture and their behavior, and so you'll have to adapt and learn how to manage the children in your care in the United States. So the sample answer includes setting clear expectations from the beginning, from the first day your students are given to you and you are introduced in your classroom. You need to start setting those expectations, clear expectations, establish consistent routines, and implement positive reinforcement. Now you may wonder, what is she talking about? But listen to me. If your routine is, when you enter my classroom in the mornings, you're going to enter quietly, unpack your bag, sit at your desk, and start your bell work, you want to make sure everybody is following that routine every single day. Once people start getting off task and you don't get on that, things are start things will start going awry. So whatever routine you have in place, be consistent with it. Make your expectations clear, so it can be 5 simple rules that they should follow, and make sure you're always going back to them and have positive reinforcers to, reward those who do adhere to those rules. And there will be consequences as well, but please note, you cannot touch these kids in the United States. So the consequence has to be things that you're definitely going to sit down and think of creative ways of reprimanding children who are not doing what they need to do. Number 4 says, what technique do you use to differentiate instruction to meet diverse needs? And differentiation is going to be another key factor, because remember I said earlier that these children are from different backgrounds, so you want to integrate different things to make sure everybody's needs are being met. So my sample answer says, employ a variety of instructional strategies such as flexible grouping, tiered assignments, meaning you're going to give assignments that is going to be matching their level. You don't want to have a group of kids who are in your 3rd grade class, but they're reading at the 1st grade level, and you're giving them assignments at the 3rd grade level, which they're not going to be able to do. You want to have them working from where they are and build on what they have so that they can get to where they should be. All right, so the next one says, how do you integrate technology into your teaching? Technology is very important. Another big thing in the United States, most schools now have one-on-one device. Students have their own computer or Chromebook. So how are you going to integrate this in your classroom? You still need to teach. You're not just going to hand them the computer and allow them to be on it all day. So what are you going to do? You can use it to incorporate interactive presentations. You can use it so that kids can do their research on different topics. You can use it to utilize the software that the school district provide and stuff like that. Just do some more research and see how you can integrate technology in your classroom. Number 6, so what is your experience with standardized testing and how do you prepare students for it? Standardized testing is a big deal in the United States. In most cases, students from grade 3 all the way up do some form of standardized testing. So think about your home country and how you prepare your students for standardized testing, and see how you can use that to help you to prepare the students for standardized testing in the United States. And you can look at the sample answer that's there, pause the video, and get more details. Number 7 says, how do you handle parent-teacher communication and involvement? They want to know that the parents are being involved. They want to know that you're communicating with parents. Some schools will ask you to keep a parent log to show that you're actually reaching out to parents, because they don't want it to get to the end of the school year and parents are like, I didn't know my child was failing because Miss Britton did not tell me that my child was failing. I've not heard from her all year long. So definitely you want to compete. So definitely you want to communicate. And there are different means. You can use text messages. You don't need to use their personal phone number. You can use Duo. That's one way of sending text. You can use Class Dojo, another text message one. Not it's not really text message, but you can send messages there. You can let the parents know what's happening in class on Class Dojo. You can send emails, you can make phone calls, so many ways, newsletters. You just want to make sure you are communicating with the parents and they are involved in their students' learning. Number 8 says, how do you stay current with educational trends and best practices? As educators, you want to make sure that you are current. So some things that you can share with your interviewers, that you enjoy going to workshop to learn about new things. You don't mind doing your own research to stay engaged in your profession so that you know what's going on. And there are several other things that you can do to stay current with educational trends and best practices. Do your research, guys. As I mentioned before, these are just some of the questions they may ask. This one says, describe a challenging situation you faced in the classroom and how you handled it. This is a big one. They want to know how you manage challenges in your classroom. All right. So you can think about, this is one I cannot tell you because I don't know what challenges you have faced. Think about a challenge that you faced and how you manage that challenge. You can look at the sample answer as well and make sure, even if your challenge was not managed in an effective way, you think that wasn't, you could have done it better, think of a different one. Do try not to use one that was not 100% what an interviewer would want to hear. I'm not saying you're gonna lie, but think about, as educators had a lot of challenge, think of one that you think would be a good one for you to share in an interview and how you dealt with it. And number 10, it says, what do you believe is the most important contribution you can make as a teacher? Sell yourself. Sell yourself. This is your time to make sure you are hired for this position. Sell yourself. How are you going to do this? Talk about the time when you did an awesome job. So I'm not sure what you are going to want to use to sell yourself, but there's a sample answer here. Think about your experience as a teacher and how you would want to bring across that experience to your interviewer to sell yourself. It's your time to shine, guys. Don't be afraid to sell yourself. Also, I did not have this on the slide, but don't be afraid also to ask questions at the end. When they ask you, do you have questions? Even if you know you don't want to ask any questions, write down at least 2 questions that you think, will sound like you're interested in the job so that you can ask. One way to do this is you can go on the district's website and learn some things about the school and ask at least 2 questions to make it look like you're doing some research. All right. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed those 10 questions. You can also check the link below. I'm going to leave a link for another video with some other interview questions that you can learn from. And if you need one-on-one guidance, don't forget to reach out to supremacyconnect.com, where we can provide you with guidance on how you can get a teaching job in the United States. That's supremacyconnect.com. Bye.